There we go. Nice to see you all. I was starting to think there were just going to be 2 or 3 of us here. And then all of a sudden the rest of you piled in.
We're all tardy.
It's always nice to see you, all of you.
I'm loving the colors in your sweater. That's lovely.
Thank you. Have I not worn this for you all before? I mean,
I don't think so.
I thought I have. It's
I
another
think you
one of those
showed it to
gradients.
us.
And I've worn another, then I have 2 of them. I knitted them in 2 different colors. And I like both of them, and they look quite different. This one has more contrast between the 2 strands. It's knitted with 2 strands of finger weight yarn to make a DK weight knit. And so the strands at the top are more contrasty than in the other one I have.
What needle size?
I would have to look that up, but I can probably do that pretty easily.
So is that two different, and then you change 2 different, or is one the same and you just change one underneath?
No, there are 2 different colorways. And what I did was I switched to the opposite end of both when I reached the chest and when I started the arm. And that's how I got them to match in the way that they do. Because otherwise, if you just knit a sweater with gradient, the sleeve won't match the body and it won't match the other sleeve. As you know, you don't control the colors very well. So this is what I figured out to do to be able to knit a true gradient, just using gradient yarn, but still have it all match. And so I just started the far end, at the opposite end of different skeins.
Oh, brilliant.
And like most of the patterns I publish, you can adapt them to a pattern you generate on Phrancko.com fairly easily. Get the instructions from Cast On magazine and then create your own custom knit sweater and apply it to that instead.
Yeah, use your design and ideas and make it in our size.
That's right. Let's see, I was looking for the pattern so I could tell you what size needle I used.
So it's 2 fingering weight held together.
Yes. I used a size 6 needle.
Okay.
The 2 yarns were Apple Tree Knits Plush Fingering Gradients is the name. Apple Tree Knits is the company.
Fiber content?
Where is that? 100% superwash merino 2-ply.
Good.
I've heard of Apple Tree Knits. Are they an American company?
Yes.
I believe so. Does anybody else know?
Yes, they've been to Stitches.
Okay. Yeah.
So anybody have any questions today?
I had a question on working on the sleeve, starting the sleeve with the provisional cast on. I have a problem with that because am I doing it because I'm left-handed and it doesn't unravel at all? I have to peel it off each and every time. I've always had that problem with provisional cast-ons.
The first and last stitch do not pull out. But if you start at the end where you finished putting it on, after you've pulled that last yarn through the final stitch and put that one on your needle, the rest of them should pull out.
Nope, I have to peel each and every one, each stitch out. But I've always had that problem with provisional cast-ons, and I don't know why.
So you knit left-handed. Are you?
I actually knit right-handed, but I
Oh.
crochet left-handed and cast on left-handed and all that kind of stuff.
I don't think that shouldn't make a difference. Are you sure that you're unraveling from the end that you finished the provisional with?
Yeah, because that was a longer tail.
So you left the longer tail to remind you.
Yeah.
So then you just get that started and you get down to the first stitch and you go, oh, this doesn't pull out.
Right.
So you pull the yarn through, and then after that, all you've got are chain stitches. And you know how chain stitches can just unravel by pulling.
Right. It just doesn't.
So each one is a chain stitch. Have you seen my video on how to do it?
Yeah.
And
So
you
I
did
figured I'm going to be
exactly-
swatching a couple of swatches, for next
Yeah.
time. Because it's something
Yeah.
I always have a problem with.
Well, while we're sitting here this hour, if you want to generate, and how can you do this? Generate a swatch. Let me think.
Can you guys hear the thunder? It's really loud. Let me know if you guys are hearing it, and I'll mute. I'm like, oh. And if I disappear, you'll know what happened.
Oh yeah. Well, we hope it's not because you got struck by lightning at your house.
Well, no, I wouldn't get struck by lightning. I mean, the trees are a lot taller, but I might
Oh.
lose power
I
and
see.
internet and etc.
So Sidra, if you'd like to generate an example, I can show you how it works, but it's a little difficult to generate. You have to kind of knit a little swatch and then knit another little swatch,
Right.
and then do the cast on stitches in between the two swatches.
Let's see what I can do.
And I could look at it and see what you're doing and why it doesn't work. So let me know when you have that done.
Okay.
David, it sounded like you were about to ask a question also.
Well, I'm at the stage where I'm just beginning this process, and
Uh-huh.
I'm not so sure that I read my knitting very well. But I think what I figured out is that I'm on row 1 of the very beginning. If you can see, I cast on, I put on a marker,
Uh-huh.
what will be the right side of the shoulder, and then I cast on the equal stitches.
Uh-huh.
And then I must have knitted back, and now
Yes.
I'm about to knit all the way through here and
No, you're going to purl. You're going to
Okay.
purl this row because it's knitting flat. So you knit one way and then purl back.
Okay, so I'm going back.
Yep, you're going back. So
This is the perfect example of me not being able to read my knitting yet very
I
well.
see.
Um,
Yeah, well, one of those has the thread positioned to work with it to go back. And
Yes, that's this
So-
one.
so
Yes,
turn it to purl.
and it looks to me like it's ready to purl.
Yeah. So
This
go
was 2
ahead.
days ago when I did this,
I
so
see.
yeah, I'm trying to.
Yeah, and this is row 2, which is one of the most complicated rows in the entire pattern if you do the shoulder shaping. But I can guide you through it. By the way, have you seen my new video on wrap and turn that I just did this week?
I think I did look at a wrap and turn. I'm trying to remember. I've done it a few times, so I'm not so worried
Okay.
about that. Till I know I'm really truly on row 2, I'm going to purl over and try to be quiet while I do it and makes
Okay,
sense.
so you purl to the end of the first piece.
Yeah,
And then you start doing the
the one with the
turn.
marker, the one with
Yep.
the marker.
Yep, you purl across that one,
Yes,
and then you purl a few stitches and do a wrap and turn on the other one,
yes.
then knit back to the center gap, and then you knit a few stitches on the other one and do another wrap and turn. Then you go back, and so that's how it works. It's going back and forth between the two sides, doing a few more stitches on each side.
Okay, let me see if I can get myself to that point, and then
Frank, isn't there a little, a link in the pattern that has a little diagram so you can see kind of what's happening there?
Yes, did you see
Because
that?
I always,
yes, I saw the thing that shows a sort of back and forth.
That's right.
Yeah.
It clarifies for some people what the whole purpose of all these wrap and turns are and how
Yeah.
they fit together and how it ends up being just row 2. The whole thing is just row 2.
Well, and unfortunately, I printed it with such large print that pagination doesn't work. So I saw all these things before I knew what I was supposed to be doing, which is clear down on page 5, believe it or not.
Yes, when you print it
This
the
is where
largest one, you get a lot of pages.
you get a lot of pages before you get to the point where it says, now start the sweater and do this.
That's right.
I think of,
And I keep adding more information in front
well,
of it as
it's all
people ask
logical.
questions.
It's all logical, but I just sort of wanted to know, okay, what do I do first? So
Yeah, you start where it says back. I believe that's the first executable.
it says back shoulders.
Yeah, yeah,
Yes.
okay, back shoulders, yeah.
So let me just get myself through this.
All right, let me know when you have a question.
I'm going to stop when it's time to wrap and turn and see if I do it the way, or if it makes sense the way I.
Okay. My video teaches a different method than most people do.
Oh, really?
But I can tell you what the difference is, I think. And it's how you pass the stitch the first time when you're on the right side. So I can guide you through the wrap and turn the way I do it. It works really well and looks very invisible. I learned it from Myra Wood, who wrote a whole book on sweater patterns using short rows.
Now the idea
I was going to say she was my first instructor on Craftsy.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah.
I wrote her, we weren't friends on Facebook, but I decided to try to write her anyway. And I wrote her and said, I just wanted you to know that I posted a video teaching your method, but I gave you lots of credit for it, both in the description and in the video. And I even showed your book. And she wrote back and said, thank you very much. And then she said, it's a great video. So good. She was pleased.
sort of the tricky thing is that you have to drop one source of yarn when you get to the gap.
What do you mean drop one source?
Well,
Oh yeah,
I'm working 2 pieces of yarn.
That's right. So you just forget
Right.
about the one you're not working with. Yeah,
Right.
just drop that one and go to the other
Yeah.
one.
And that's just sort of new to me. So I'm.
Well, you'll see when you those are the 2 sides of the back of the neck. That's what they are. And just a couple of rows later, you will combine those with cast on stitches, and then it'll just be one section.
Okay.
In the meantime, does anybody else have a question?
I did.
What's that, Blakely? Hi.
Hi. So I was.
Oh,
I've been
Bradley,
working
I'm
on-
sorry, I said it wrong, but go ahead.
That's fine. I've been working on the sweater for myself, which is the mohair in a really big gauge.
Oh, yeah.
And I got anxious to finish the body. And I did. So I worked all the way down, and then I worked about 3 inches of ribbing at the bottom,
Okay.
but it's a little too short.
Oh,
And I
the
didn't
easiest
know
thing to
if,
do is to rip out the ribbing and just add more
Oh.
length to it. There is another
Okay.
way, but I don't even know if it would work with the mohair. And that
Yeah.
would be cut the ribbing off and then knit a few more inches in the body and then graft the ribbing back onto where you cut it off using Kitchener stitch. But Kitchener stitch requires pulling a lot of yarn through all the needle, all the stitches, and it would really not work well with mohair with all that.
okay.
So really, to make it longer, you will need to rip out all of the ribbing and then just continue knitting
Okay.
and then do the ribbing again.
So you just undo the bind off,
Yeah, undo the bind off. What kind of
Okay.
bind off did you use?
just regular.
Regular bind off? Good. That's
Mhm.
easier to undo than the kind I teach.
Okay.
Video. I was going to tell you, if you did the kind I teach, you should probably just cut it off. It's too hard to get out, and you're not trying to save the yarn anyway.
Okay.
Frank, if it's done at a looser gauge like that with mohair, is that one that's going to like hang down and stretch some? I don't know. I haven't done mohair for like 50 years.
I don't have experience with mohair that way either. I only did one mohair, and that was scarf, and it didn't really matter how big it got.
Yeah, that did.
Yeah, it's not very heavy, because that's sort of what I was
Okay.
thinking, is it would eventually shrink, or I mean lengthen.
Yeah,
but
lengthen.
Yeah, that was kind of
Is
what I
doesn't-
would think.
Does it seem stretchy when you pull down on it?
I can pull it down, but then it comes right back up.
I see.
Yeah,
Yeah, I can't tell you what it's going to be like after you block it.
yeah. Oh, well, that's true. I haven't blocked it.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Did you block your swatch before you started?
I did. Mhm.
Good. So you used the gauge after you blocked it.
I did, but
So do you
maybe
remember?
that's the reason, because I measured it. I went by the pattern, and I
Yeah, but
did.
the pattern
however
just
many-
says to knit so many inches.
right.
And so that's a matter of how you, that's the right number of stitches, right number of inches at that gauge. And if you knitted that number of inches, it should have been the length you wanted. So did you enter too short a length, and that's why it's too short?
Maybe.
The length is the most variable part of the pattern. You can make it any length. You don't have to, I mean, the pattern just says knit till it's 20 inches long or
Mhm.
whatever. And
Mhm.
so, whether you knit 20 or 21 or 22 inches, that all depends on how it fits. My tip is, if you can, try the sweater on before you start the ribbing. I did that with my sweater.
Mhm.
Most of my sweaters are shorter than I really wanted them to be. And
Okay.
and that's because I get impatient and say, well, that's long enough. That's long enough.
Yeah, I think that's what I did.
And I get impatient. In fact, I'll confess to you, this one's too short. Can you see it? Maybe not.
It's kind of like Elizabeth Zimmerman's
always
of
doing
knit
this
it
on
as
the
long as
sweater.
you can stand it and then do it again.
I wish I was a
I didn't
perfect
know if
knitter.
I could just start adding on, if I could undo the bind off and just do more ribbing.
Well,
just
yeah,
like
if you want,
really long ribbing.
yeah, if you want a long ribbing, that's fine. 3 inches is longer than I normally do anyway, but
Yeah.
you're just adding a ribbing bottom to it. Sure, just take out yeah, that's an easy thing to do. I know, because redoing the ribbing is a chore because it's the slowest part of
Well,
the body.
Yeah, and I don't know if I can take out, I don't know if I can, take out that much without it getting all, knotted up.
Uh-huh. Well,
Well, when you block the swatch, though, I guess, do you think it'll lengthen after it's
I
blocked?
don't know. That all depends on, did you by any chance take the gauge before you blocked it so you could compare to see which way it grows or shrinks?
No. Mm-mm.
Yeah.
I
Most
didn't
people
measure.
don't,
You,
but
you mean measure the swatch before I blocked it? And
yeah,
then
yeah.
after?
Do this if I mean, if you really do a thorough job of all this, and I don't, but if you want to, you take the gauge before you block it for reference to when you're knitting the sweater. And then
Okay.
you block it and use those measurements to create the pattern. But then you can look and see, well, did my rows get farther apart or did they get closer together when I blocked it? What did blocking
Okay.
do to it? And usually they get, if they move at all, they get closer together. So it'll actually, the sweater would actually be shorter after you block
Oh.
it. But some yarns stretch when you block them, especially I think cotton tends to stretch, and
Mhm.
alpaca certainly stretches. So it all depends on the yarn.
Okay. Well, I may have half half my sweater may be ribbing.
Well, that's not necessarily unattractive. Did you do decreases before you started the ribbing, or did you do it using the same number of stitches?
So yeah, I did bust increases, waist decreases, and then hip increases.
And then when you
So
started the ribbing though, in the last round
the
before the
third
ribbing or in the first round of the ribbing, did you do any decreases there?
no.
Okay. The pattern says it's optional. It depends on whether you want the ribbing to pull in or whether you want a ribbing that is more straight down. And apparently more modern sweaters don't pull in at the bottom, but I grew up with them pulling in, so I still do that.
Yeah.
But I think I modified the pattern to say, if you want the sweater to pull in at the ribbing, then use a smaller needle and do this many decreases around. It's usually like 10% less.
Okay. I just kept the same needle size and
Good.
just
Well, then that means
did ribbing.
it'll
so.
be easier. That's a good choice if you're just going to keep extending the ribbing.
Okay.
You wouldn't want a long ribbing that was pulled in tight around your hips,
Right.
probably.
No.
Yeah, that's a perfectly fine solution. If it's a look, a sweater with long ribbing at the bottom is a
Yeah.
look. It's fashionable. Men don't do that kind of thing, but women frequently do. Is that right? Cindy, Jenny, anybody? Sidra?
Frank, I am now at the first wrap and turn.
Okay.
Can you talk me through it? I've got the hand and
Yes. Let
I mean-
me give you the spotlight, and I will also join you in the spotlight. No, I want to see you full screen, so I'm going to do that. All right. You're at the point of the wrap and turn, and
Yes.
if I recall, you're on the right side.
I was on the purl side. I was purling.
Oh, you purled across? And now
Yes.
you're on the purl side. Okay.
Yes. It's a purl to the end of the right, and then on the left shoulder, purl 6, and now
Okay.
wrap and turn.
Okay, so now you're doing a wrap and turn. You just simply, the first step is pass one stitch, keep the yarn. Where's the yarn when you're purling? It's in front. Keep the yarn in front and pass one stitch purlwise to the right needle.
Okay, that's normal.
Now this is all normal. Now bring the yarn to the front.
It is already to the front.
I'm sorry, bring the yarn to the back. I get
Right.
confused in my head. Bring the yarn to the back,
Right.
pass the stitch back, still without twisting it, and bring the yarn back to the front.
Got it.
Now turn the work. That's a normal wrap and turn.
Yes, that's
You
what I,
do the pass before you you bring the yarn through. That's another alternative, is to bring the yarn through first. I used to do that all the time, but now I don't. So anyway, so now knit back to the edge and then knit, what did you say, 6 stitches to the other
Yeah.
side.
So I'm assuming on the next part of this, past the gap, I knit another 6 and wrap and turn.
Yes, but I'm going to guide you through that one because that's where I do something differently.
Okay, let me go real quickly. I'm almost
Okay.
there.
Sure.
Picking up the other source of yarn.
Mm-hmm.
I have this horrible urge to slip the first one, which I know is just a habit. So
Oh, yeah, don't do that.
no, I'm okay.
That makes a nice edge for a swatch, but when you're going to pick up stitches, it makes the pickups too loose.
Yeah. Okay, 6 stitches. I've done it.
All right. Now the
Yeah.
first step is to slip the stitch knitwise. Slip one stitch knitwise. That's what's different.
Okay.
Now bring the yarn to the front.
Yes.
Slip the stitch back to the left needle, keeping its same orientation. So it's now oriented reversed.
Okay.
And then put the yarn in the back and turn the work.
Now, am I going to knit or am I going to purl in the other direction now?
Yes, you just did a short row, so you're now turning for the short row. Oh,
Okay.
and you want to tug a little bit on that yarn so that the wrap is snug, not overly tight, but snug.
So the effect of that turn was to.
You'll see it when we pick it up.
So
You'll see
you
it
were,
later.
I was locking that stitch to get out of the way.
Yeah.
Am I describing that correctly? I'm not yet working on that stitch that I've just wrapped and turned.
No, you're not. You
I'm-
start
I'm-
on, you go back in the other direction. You do not work that stitch until later. When you get back to that stitch, then I'll tell you how to pick up the wrap.
All right. So on the right shoulder. Purl to the naked. On the left shoulder. Okay, I go further this time.
Yeah. So you're going to pick up the wrap on the purl side. And when you pick it up, oh man, it's hard for me to visualize.
Yeah. Let me get myself to there where I think I should be.
Get to where you're ready to pick up that stitch on the purl side, and then you're going to go maybe 6 more stitches past there.
Okay, I have finished the wrap and purl on the what I think of as the right side because of the marker. None of this. Okay, yeah. And now
Wait. Oh, yeah. You did the wrap and turn and then purled back.
yes.
Okay.
And now the instruction says on the left side, because I am purling, I'm going to purl 12 stitches, picking up the wrap.
Picking up the wrap. Okay, go up to this wrapped stitch, but don't knit it yet.
Okay. I promise I will review your video on wrap and turn.
Well,
again.
I'm giving it to you in detail right now. So this is a real good object lesson for everybody.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, I'm at, let's see. I've purled 6. Now I'm at that the gap that's kind of created by wrap and turn.
Well, the gap can you see which stitch is wrapped? You may have already knitted it.
I haven't. I have not yet wrapped.
Oh, okay. All right. So now you're going to pick up the wrap, but you're going to pick it up from the right side, which is the side away from you, I believe, since you're purling. You see, you could pick it up in either direction.
I understand that.
So
Yeah.
pick it up. It's the most natural way to pick it up. Pick it up and put it on the left needle.
Wait a minute. I guess I didn't follow that very well. Okay.
Okay, you're going to pick, you see the wrap has a near side and a far side. And you want to pick up the far side, which is on the right side of the fabric. Do you see what I'm talking about? The near
Not yet.
side and far
Not
side?
Not yet. Just
Do
a
you see
second.
the wrap going around the base of that stitch? It's like a loop going around the base of the stitch.
Yes.
Okay, the loop starts on one side, goes around the stitch and comes on back
Yes.
on the other side.
Yes.
All right, do you see the side that's on the right side of the fabric, the knit
Yes.
side of the fabric?
Yes.
Put the needle under that, put your right needle under that side of the wrap and place it on the left needle.
Oh. Okay. That created a kind of increase.
Nope, now you're going to purl those two stitches together so it doesn't increase.
Okay, got it. That's what I mean. Yeah. All of a
Yes.
sudden.
If you knitted them both, it would be an increase, but no, you
Now,
don't.
why am I doing that? Does that just create tighter?
Otherwise it leaves a hole where you just, if you just turned and went in the other direction, it leaves a hole where you turn.
No, I
So
need to
there's-
continue. I need to continue purling.
Yeah, so you purl those two together and then continue purling until you get to stitch number 12.
Got it. And I have now purled stitch number 12.
Okay. And now you do the same thing you did on the purl side before,
Which is to pick it up.
purlwise.
Yeah, purl rise, put it on the right needle, put the yarn in back, reverse everything, and then pull the stitch over to the
Put
right
it
needle.
not over, it goes between the needles, so it wraps the stitch.
Yes, I should have said it that way, not
Okay.
over.
Yeah, it's confusing to talk about it. It's easier to see.
It's the
and do.
prepositions in English that cause so much.
That's right.
I hate the right
Alright.
side thing because it's like, is it the outside or is it the left or right side?
I haven't a clue what's outside, inside right now. I
There's
am
right
going
side
by-
and wrong side of the fabric. There's also the right side of the sweater and the left side of the sweater. So that's
It
confusing
is.
too.
That's confusing to me always.
But the knit side of the fabric is what we call the right side, or the
Yes,
RS.
the stockinette
And
is
the
the right
WS
side.
is the purl side of the fabric. So anyway, you've wrapped it. Now you turn your work and you knit back in the other direction.
Yes.
There's also the public side.
That's right. We could call it the public side. What's the other side? The private side? It's got to be two sides. They both have to have a name.
The non-public.
Non-public side. You know.
Or the wrong side, because he knitted his whole sweater back to front, didn't he?
Ladies, I'm having real trouble with prepositions, so be patient with me. I'm finished the left side, and I'm going to go over to the right and knit 12.
Using the other yarn, yes.
Yes, dropping this. I know this will get easier, but right now it's just quite horrific. Okay.
Well, like I said, this is one of the most difficult rows in the whole pattern. There are some other places that trip people up, but this is one that people ask questions about all the time.
But this one, it's like, it's row 2 and then you're done. You don't do that. You don't do short rows anymore after this.
Unless you're going to do, it's not no short rows in the pattern, but
Right.
women might want to do bust shaping using short rows.
Yes. Don't complicate things, Frank. Let us get the shoulders done first. Give us some hope.
What's becoming clear to me is that I'm creating 2 triangles.
No, 2 rectangles.
No,
They look
they're
like
kind of
tri-
triangles.
they
Yeah,
look
they're
like
kind of triangles.
triangles.
Oh,
to me.
yes, with the short rows,
Yeah,
they
yeah,
are like
mhm.
triangles. That's right.
Yeah. Mhm.
They are. That's right.
Okay. I'm working on getting rid of that, getting it out of my way. Now I've got to use this one to do 12 stitches.
Now, it says knit 12 stitches, picking up the wrap. So again, you're going to go up to the 6th stitch and pick up a wrap in the next stitch.
Oh, yes. Now,
And this is the one that's a little different because it's on the
Right.
right side of the fabric.
and I have done it, but you need to talk me one more time, I think.
No, you
through-
haven't picked up a wrap on the right
Oh.
side yet. So I'm going to talk you through that. This will be the first time you've seen this. It's different.
Okay. Yes, now I'm at that wrap.
Okay. Now, again, you want to pick up the side of the wrap that is on the right side of the fabric, which is now the side that is facing you.
Got it?
So pick that side of the wrap up and place it on the needle.
On the right or the left needle?
Pick it up with the right needle and place it onto the left needle.
Okay.
And then knit those 2 together through the back loop. Not the normal way of knitting, but knit through the back loop.
Let me see if I can ask a question that makes some sense. I have picked up that wrap, put it on the left needle, and when I look at it, it looks like a normal stitch. I could conceivably knit just that pickup.
Yeah, but you don't want to.
I don't want to, but I
Right.
want to make sure it's in the right orientation.
That's right. It's actually in a reverse orientation and it will fit together with the other one.
So I'm wondering if I should reverse it, if I lift it correctly.
Wait a minute. Okay, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to do a quick wrap and turn in my knitting right now. Let's see.
I'm trying to figure out how to
I've got to
lift
make
it.
sure I'm saying right and left and front and back right. I even got confused in my video and got all messed up. At one point I said, oh, I don't know what I'm saying. Right in the video. Okay. It's hard for me to visualize it in my head and then tell you how to do it. So I'm going to just do it in my own knitting here. And then I can tell you exactly. Okay. So I'm knitting up to the stitch I just wrapped knitwise.
Yes.
And now, how can I show you? I don't have my camera set up to show you my hands. Let's see if it helps to hold it up like this.
No.
No, you can't see it, can you?
So I think the question is,
I'm going to pick up, let me just say it. I'm going to pick up the front of that wrap
yes.
and place it on the needle.
And let me ask the question,
Uh-huh.
do you go down from what I think of as to the, do I go down or do I come up under and
You
lift?
come up underneath the wrap.
That's exact. Okay, and then that's easy to place it now. I
And
see.
that makes it easy to place.
Yes,
And it's oriented so that you can knit through the back of the loop.
which means I knit the 2 of them together
Through the back of the loop.
through the back of the loop.
And all you should see on the front of the fabric is what looks like one knit stitch.
No, I have created something odd. Let me go back. Doesn't look like anything that makes sense. Hang on a minute. I'm gonna go one more time and try to figure it out.
All right.
Let me undo
Another
it.
thing you could do is you could go watch the video. I think it's less than 10 minutes long. You want me to post
Yeah,
a link to it?
yeah, and I could maybe step out and go look at it and see if I can come back and figure it out.
You wouldn't really have to step out, just mute your volume
Okay,
or and turn off your video if you want to while you watch it. Let me give you the link.
so do I leave the meeting?
You don't need to, no.
Okay,
Just bring up your browser. Oops.
I don't even know what that means. Let's see.
Well, you know how you surf the internet.
Yeah, yeah. I know. All right. So
All right, I'm going to post this in the chat. That's the link to the video. Do you see chat? This is the Zoom chat.
just a second. I don't know where I am now at all.
Can you get back to Zoom if you're not looking at Zoom?
Yeah, I may have to. I'm at your newsletter.
Oh,
So let me join you again. I can
Your
hear you
Zoom-
fine.
your Zoom, you're still in the meeting. So
Yeah.
your Zoom link is probably at the bottom of your screen. Are you on a Mac or a PC?
I'm on a PC.
Oh, then I don't know where the Zoom link is.
Just a second. There's chat. Okay, and I
Yeah.
pulled that up. So I see your link now.
Okay, just click it. I think you should be able to click it and it'll take you right to the video in the browser. Did that work?
Yes.
And then you can mute your video. So, well, mute your video in Zoom so we don't hear the chat. They hear the video.
Trying to figure out how to do that. Hang on a second.
If it's in the lower left corner of your Zoom window, there's a microphone. You just click it.
Yeah.
There you go. You're now muted. So when you're ready to talk again, unmute yourself same way. Now watch the video and then come back and tell us if you got it.
I watched the video, Frank.
Did you?
I did. I want to do one now to try it.
I think that idea of twisting the stitch on the right side of the fabric was just ingenious. I don't know if Myra is the person who thought that up or if she got it from somebody else. I don't know, but that's who I learned it from. So, you know, there's very little that's new when you record something. Every now and then I record something I think I haven't seen anywhere before. And the Phrancko sweater I haven't ever seen anywhere before. So I think that
Frank, I'm hearing all of you guys. How do I
Oh.
mute all of you?
You can't. Forgot.
Then could you all shut up while I go watch?
Let me see. Is there some way to? I don't know if you can mute us without muting the video as well on your
I think the
computer.
easiest thing for me to do is leave the meeting. And
Leave
come
the
back.
meeting and come back. That'll be fine, David. Just make sure you come back. We're going to worry about you if you're no longer here.
See, we all need to learn sign language So we could just be signing at one another
That's
and being
right.
silent.
That's right.
But it's very difficult to do that and knit at the same time.
Are you starting a new sweater, Jenny?
Not yet. It's going to be a couple of weeks. I have a scarf
Okay.
I need to do for a friend.
So that's what you're working on now?
Yes, yes. So
Yeah.
it's based on the Disney Beauty and the Beast. So that's Belle from Beauty and the Beast. And then I'm just starting. Whoops, so to fall off. Just starting the teacup. So that's the bottom of the teacup. I'm starting.
Wow.
So it's double knitting. So it's reverse on the other side.
That's amazing.
Wow.
Wow.
Yeah. So I'm a one project at a time person. So I won't start another sweater until I've finished this, because otherwise I can't decide which to knit on, and then I don't knit anything.
Yeah.
So I have to just concentrate on one project at a time.
I wish I'd been so disciplined. I have probably 8 unfinished projects that I'll never go back to.
Oh no, that would
But
just
I'm
stress
getting
me
better
out.
now that I have to knit a sweater every quarter. And so I always finish each sweater.
Yeah, no, I just get too stressed if I have other things on the go. Yeah.
And knitting should be anything but stressful.
Stressful, yes. But I've already planned my next sweater in my head, and I have the yarn ready for it.
Oh, cool.
And I just need to. So on the next one, I'm going to have a go at bust shaping. So I just need to do a little bit of research on that.
Uh-huh.
And because Ron was saying to do it without doing short rows, just by doing extra increases down the shoulder seam. So I need to have a think about that as well.
I'm trying to figure that all out myself. I'm helping someone who can't make it to the Saturday meetings because she's Jewish. And so I'm meeting with her privately, and she's a fairly large woman and wants to add body shaping. And of course, I've never done that. I only had the instruction from Suzanne. And I'm not sure that that's going to be enough to just do short rows. So I'm trying to figure out what to do. I got Kathy Zoller to help. She's usually here, but she's in Yellowstone National Park this week. And so I've gotten advice from her, and she takes a slightly different approach. And so now I'm getting confused. What do I do?
I understand in my head what Ron says. I can visualize it in my head. It's just that you have to work it all out in advance as to how many extra stitches you need and where you need them.
And where do you need them? That's right. Where do you need those extra stitches?
So I'm going to need them before the armhole finishes. So part way down the shoulder, I'm going to have to start working out how many to add and then how many rows, and then annotate your pattern to remind me to add in the right places.
That's right.
And that's what's doing my head in. So I need to think about, how much fabric I need. Yeah. I understand the theory of what he's saying. It's just working it all out and writing it all down. So, and I'm no good at ripping back. If things go, I hate undoing things and doing them again. So if they don't go right first time, I get very frustrated.
You're the opposite of our friend Fatima. She starts over every sweater at least 3 times.
Oh no, that would be too depressing for words.
Yes,
And she gets quite a ways.
Yeah, and then she says, "Oh, I don't mind ripping it back. I'll just do it right next time."
No. So if I go, if it doesn't go right, I'll just finish it and think I'll find somebody else that will fit, and I'll give that to somebody else, because I'm not doing it and doing it again.
So I think I figured out what I was doing wrong on the provisional cast on.
Oh, did you?
I was following how you do it, which is right-handed.
Yes.
Doesn't work for left-handed.
No, you no.
So I had to,
If you knit left-handed, you'd have to do it on the other needle. But you said you knit right-handed.
I knit right-handed, but I cast on, I crochet, I do all the kind of stuff left-handed. So I have to
see.
convert that.
Oh, yeah, I don't know how that fits together, but you're
Yeah.
right.
I mean,
You
like
do have
Patty
to-
Lyons, has a video on how to do a long tail cast on left-handed for right-handed knitting,
Oh,
which helped a lot because I always, my leg was always to the back. So I'd either have to knit to the back or I would have to convert every stitch
oh,
or it would be very tight.
right.
So
Wow.
I'll do that for next sweater.
It's so interesting, all the different ways that people knit. And a lot of times it looks very similar at the finished product. I mean, the stitches are the same, but the way that we create the stitches is very different.
Mhm.
And it's fun.
I didn't realize we sent David away to watch a video that's going to probably run over the 3:30 mark.
Oh, yes.
Oh dear.
Blimey.
We're going to come back and we won't be here anymore.
Well, maybe he could, in YouTube, maybe he could just play it really fast. You can speed it up in your settings.
Well, he's not here, so he can't hear that suggestion.
Dang. I bet he'll get it though. He was understanding more of what was going on.
Yeah, I don't know what went wrong. I mean, I thought how exactly to pick up the wrap and how to knit it through the back. Oh, he's back, David.
Yes. Let me just say, managing the technology is, can you hear me all okay?
We hear you,
Yes.
we see you, it's great.
Just so you know, Frank, what I did was when I left your meeting, I lost everything, including the link to your video. So I went out and went to YouTube and typed in Phrancko wrap and turn, and lo and behold, there it was.
Oh, good.
So
Just came up.
there is a path to make that happen. And frankly, the process, I know what I was doing wrong. I was doing something that I was taught. It doesn't really matter, but going in, when you put two pearls together and you go through the back and that's what I was doing, and that's why it looked odd.
Oh,
Doesn't matter.
okay.
I think I've got it. It looks normal, so that I can continue where I was. So
Well, good. As long as it looks normal, that's good. I was just telling everyone that I was afraid that we had sent you away to watch a video that was going to go past 3:30, and then you'd come back and we wouldn't be here. I didn't realize how late it was. But I'm glad you got back.
It all worked fine.
Well, I'll post this video with an explanation that we've gone deeply into the wrap and turn that I also did a video for.
Well, and manipulating YouTube as well was part of the issue.
Oh yeah.
Because I don't think I do it correctly all the time. Okay. Looks like we're here at 3:30 already.
Well, I've got 3:28, 3:29. We'll wait another minute. Who else has something to show in the last minute? Anybody? Sidra, I didn't see what you're working on today.
Hold on, let me finish this part of the sleeve. See if I can. See if I can put this on this bulky sweater here.
Oh, wow.
Oh, that's
Right.
beautiful. Sidra, your work is gorgeous. Oh, and pockets and
Oh, I love
everything.
it.
I love
Yes.
it.
So
Oh,
the bottom is going
beautiful.
to just be solid because this is too long.
Mhm.
And I have to take out the bind off down here because it's too weighty and I don't like it. I did a
Oh.
stretchy bind off and I just don't
Uh-huh.
like it. So I'm going to redo that.
Okay.
It's
Well, it looks
beautiful.
great.
Thank
I'm
you.
so pleased. I'm glad I asked to see it.
Has to be
Well-
done by middle of October. So
I guess you all probably heard I'm going to be on a river cruise on the Danube River for the next 2 weeks. I'm leaving Wednesday and then I'll be gone for 2 Saturdays. But I hope you all will meet and encourage each other while I'm gone and I come back and there's still people meeting. Invite all your friends and keep telling people about the Phrancko pattern so we can keep growing.
Thank you for your help today, Frank. I
You're
really
very
appreciate it.
welcome, David. And I'm going to miss you all. I really enjoy these meetings.
You have
I
a
may
great
see if I can
time.
log in if I get any kind of Wi-Fi in it. Well, I don't know what time it'll be. It'll be the middle of the night, I guess. So I probably won't log in. So anyway,
Well, have a
I'll see you in
wonderful
3
time.
weeks.
Sounds
Okay.
good.
Okay.
All
Yes,
right.
enjoy.
Bye, Frank.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.